Hi, you guys, it's Yaz. I want to tell you about my 2 books that are on Amazon, okay? You can download them free with the trial membership from Kindle. The first book is Regain Your Power. If you're in a relationship and you feel like your partner has all the control in the relationship, maybe you're walking around on eggshells, you're afraid to approach them, it's going to tell you how to regain your power and be happy in the relationship, okay? And what you may be doing wrong, and that's why your partner has all the control in the relationship. The other book is Signs He's Not Into You, He's Wasting Your Time. There's a lot of people that are dating someone or in a relationship with somebody who's not really vested in the relationship. And we often are confused as to whether our partner really likes us or is into us or wants a future with us. And this book is going to give you signs and red flags of whether your partner is into you or he's just basically drifting and wasting your time. So go to Amazon and download the Kindle free trial membership. Doesn't cost you anything. And check it out. It may help you. Okay? And have a great day. Hi, you guys. Good evening. It's Yaz. Tonight, I want to talk about dating and relationships during the coronavirus. It's really difficult, to just talk about basic relationship topics or dating topics when we have this pandemic in the world going on today. And I hope everybody is doing okay and being safe. I'm in New York, and I could tell you there's a lot of corona cases here, and I just want to also remind everybody to keep a distance from everyone and to make sure you wash your hands. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. But what I'm going to be talking about primarily tonight is about, how do we deal with our dating and our relationships when we're being confined in our homes? We're doing social distancing. And the way you're going to have to do it is virtually. And it's good and it's bad. It's bad because you don't have that physical being able to see someone in person and watch their gestures and feel, the connection that you have with that person in person. But in the interim, what I suggest is if you're dating someone or you're in a relationship with someone and, you're not in the same household and you have to do social distancing, I recommend FaceTiming with that person to get to know them. It's also, in a way, it's kind of good because it gives you a chance to have those conversations with those people that you are starting to get to know and not rushing into seeing them right away. I always say you need a couple of conversations with somebody to really get to know them before you should even meet them, okay? Because when you meet them, then the next thing that gets involved is the whole physical attraction. And this is where a lot of people make a mistake, is they rush too quickly. They rush too quickly. They feel that lust. They feel that physical attraction, that chemistry, that sexual chemistry or that physical chemistry, and they never get a chance to really get to know the person. So while you're going through this, with this whole coronavirus situation going on, and you have free time, okay, you should talk to that person either on the phone, not texting, on the phone, because that's how you get to know somebody, or I recommend video chatting with them, okay? And this is where you can get into in-depth conversations with that person. Ask them about their background. I always tell you guys, you got to look with a microscope at somebody. You want to find out as much as you can about that person, their past history, to really know the type of person that you're dealing with. This is a major problem, and this is why so many people get hurt. because they go headfirst into a relationship without really interviewing the person. Yes, in a way, it's kind of like you're interviewing them. You're talking about your life. If you're looking for a potential partner and you're looking to spend the rest of your life with that person, you can't just look at that person from a physical aspect. Oh, they're really cute. Oh, they're hot. No, you have to look at that person's inner character. Okay. And the way you could do that, and especially now with social distancing during the coronavirus, is to be on the phone with them on a daily basis and talk to them. It also gives you insight on how they're dealing with the crisis. The things you should be looking about is if you're getting to know somebody, that person should take an interest in how you're doing. They should be asking you how you're doing. This is a crisis situation, almost a wartime situation. And if you're dealing with somebody who's not taking an interest in how you are during these difficult times, that pretty much tells you a lot, okay? So if you're getting to know somebody and you're distanced now with the coronavirus, all right, and all this person does is talk about themselves, okay? They're constantly talking about what they had to do or what they're dealing with, and they're never asking about you, or they're not concerned on how you're doing in the situation, or they're not really, getting in depth about it, okay? They may just say, oh, how are you, or whatever. But if they're not really interested in how you are during this time, that's a big red flag, you guys, all right? So, during this time of social distancing, during the coronavirus, this is a great time to see the character of how somebody is, all right? And they should want to talk to you on a daily basis, especially with what's going on out there in the world, all right? This will pass. This coronavirus situation will pass, but it's going to take time, okay? They're estimating it could be a couple of months. They're not really sure yet. But in the interim, we all have to deal with this uncomfortableness of being confined in our homes or our apartments. And it's just something that we have to deal with. Our health comes first. Before anything else, your health comes first. Your health, your family, okay? And then, relationships are all part of that. But I'm just saying, your first concern is your health and what you have to do for your health, for your family's health, for the general public, okay? But when it comes to dealing with the situation and having to date or having relationships, okay, if you're not talking to somebody on a regular basis, this is a good chance to reach out to somebody and get to know them on a social basis. If you start to chat with somebody online, tell them that, you'd like to speak to them on the phone and see how it goes. Like I said, talking to someone on the phone is completely different from just texting somebody. You get a complete feel for the person when you get on the phone, okay? You can hear, kind of what kind of person they are just in the tone of their voice or their gestures, all right? And this is a good time to build that emotional, mental bond with whoever you're dealing with. This is a good time to, get to know them and see if this is somebody, that you could have a good friendship with, because you have to be able to relate to each other before you bring in the physical aspect of the relationship. All right. So in a way, it can be, sometimes in bad situations, having to deal with a crisis, sometimes good comes out of it because it'll give you a chance to get to know that person before you actually meet them. Or if you have met them, it gives you a chance to really talk to them and, build that closer emotional bond with that person rather than rushing always, if you see that person and you're physical with that person, that person could get burnt out on you, okay? Because the ultimate goal for a lot of people, and especially in the case of men to women, is, a lot of men, and especially in today's world, okay, because the men in a lot of ways have the upper hand, all right? Because there's so many women online, So they have a lot of options. Not to say that women don't have options too, but a lot of women are looking for relationships, all right? So this gives you a chance to really get to know the person. So I really think it gives you an idea if that person is, taking a general concern in getting to know you. So that's the first aspect of everything. And then as things die down, you can actually get together. You've built that mental bond with that person, having to talk to them. And there is that saying that distance makes the heart grow fonder. So you're kind of forced in a situation to not be with that person, okay? So when you do eventually get to that point where you can go see that person and it's safe to go out, all right, then you've already built that mental bond with them, okay? Then they've become closer to you, all right? Because they got to know you as a person. You've talked about a lot of things. You've been on the phone with that person. You've video chatted with that person, okay? So you haven't rushed that connection with that person. And that will build a stronger bond. And that's how you have to look at it. I know some dating apps, I mean, I'm not an advocate of the dating apps, but I'm just saying some dating apps have also encouraged doing, either video chatting, Skype, FaceTime, and to really, kind of have a virtual relationship in the time being till we get through this pandemic and you could eventually get together with that person, all right? So the way you have to look at it when it comes to dating and relationships is that right now you're working on the mental connection rather than the physical connection. And some people, they do the physical connection through FaceTime and Skype as well, but I don't recommend that you rush and do anything like that without really making sure that that person is vested into you and that person really takes an interest in getting to know you. Otherwise, that person could just be using you, okay, for their entertainment. So you have to be really careful of that too. I mean, you don't want to jump on FaceTime and Skype and, do anything sexually with somebody until that person has put the time and effort in to get to know you and they've taken an interest. I cannot say it enough, you guys. If you're dealing with somebody and you're looking at that person for a long-term kind of thing, if that person is not taking an interest in you and your well-being, okay, then that is a huge red flag, all right? I always say, you could tell, does this person care? Does this person care how you're doing? Is this person care about your background? Have they asked you any questions like, they wanted information and getting to know you? When somebody likes you and are looking at you as a long-term thing, they're going to want to absorb everything about you. They're going to be asking you a lot of questions because they're looking at you as a long-term thing. They're not just looking at you as somebody to, a chat buddy. And you got to be careful of that too, okay? Because that is everywhere. There are so many people wasting people's time just looking for a chat buddy. I can't even tell you how common that is. And you have to be careful of that too. You don't want anybody wasting your time that doesn't have intentions in really getting to know you and looking to go further with you, all right? So the way you could pick apart who really wants to get to know you and who doesn't is whether they're asking questions about you. Because there's a lot of people, and especially when it comes to men to women, all right, that will get on the phone with you and talk to you on a regular basis. They enjoy talking to you, okay? It's an ego boost for them. And sometimes they're bored or they want somebody to talk to. But it doesn't necessarily mean they're looking at you as a long-term partner. You have to be careful of that. Just because somebody talks to you on a regular basis doesn't necessarily mean they're looking at you as the one, okay? They need to take an interest in you. So if they're not taking an interest in you and they're just getting on the phone or texting you or Skyping or FaceTiming with you and it's all about them, That's a huge red flag, okay? There's a lot of self-absorbed people out there, so do not waste your time with them. See how it goes, but if you see this is a pattern that this person is just calling you up, or, if they're not calling you up at all, and they're just texting you, and they won't get on the phone, don't even bother with that person if you're looking for something more, okay? Because a person that won't get on the phone with you is a person that is going to waste your time. That's a person that's not going to be serious with you. That's a person that could be texting you, and in the case of men to women, he could be texting 6 other girls at the same time. All right. Or he could be in a relationship and his girl could be sitting right there. So if they're not getting on the phone with you, huge red flag. Okay. I just thought I'd point that out. But the whole thing about this podcast was about all of us having to live and be confined at this time, and hopefully things will calm down and, we'll be able to interact socially again. We have to do what we have to do during this time, you guys. You have to follow what they're telling you. If they're telling you to stay in, you have to stay in. This coronavirus is so contagious. It's not a joke, you guys. Just look at what's happening in Italy. Over 4,000 deaths in Italy. So when they tell you to stay in, okay? A lot of cases too, they're saying, it could be airborne as well. So that's why they're saying, social distancing. So number one is your health and the well-being of your family and the general public and your neighbors. All right. So, that's what you have to follow first. And the way you deal with the dating and the relationships, like I said, is you're going to have to do it in the virtual world. All right. You're going to have to Skype. You're going to have to FaceTime. You're going to have to get on the phone with these people and get to know them that way. And just realize that this is not forever. This will pass, just like everything else in history. It will pass. Things will eventually get better in a matter of time. But we all have to get through it, okay? We all have to get through it, all right? And I want to send out my prayers to everybody to be safe, okay? And to take this whole pandemic very seriously, okay? I saw a news article with spring breakers all over the beach, okay? It's ridiculous. You guys have to take it seriously. And then there were 9 cases of coronavirus just from that incident, okay, down in Florida. But getting back to this, instead of looking at it and getting depressed about the fact that you're confined at home, look at it as a way to really weed out who cares about you and who doesn't. The person that cares about you is the person that's going to check in on you and make sure you're okay. The person that cares about you is the person that's going to get on that phone. The person that's not afraid to do a video chat and talk to you that way. All right. And build and get into conversations about each other and get to know the inner person of each other. All right. So that's what you have to look at. That person should also be interested in, your past, your background, your family. If they're taking no interest whatsoever, that's a big flag, okay? And you should take an interest as well. You should ask a lot of questions, of course, because you want to know the type of people that you're dealing with, all right? So look at it as a chance to get to know the person mentally, all right? See if the person is consistent in contacting you on a regular basis and, you're getting to know each other virtually. And then eventually, when things lighten up with what's going on in the world and you're able to get out and socialize with that person, see if that person says anything to the effect like, when we can go out, I definitely want to get together with you and I would like to do this with you. Just make sure that they follow through in what they're saying, because anybody could say anything, But that's what you have to look at, you guys, all right? Remember, this will pass, okay? And use it as a time to basically get to know the person and see how they are and if they'll get on the phone with you. And, you could talk about a lot of different things. And it's a good way to get the conversation in first instead of being pressured. Like if you didn't have this coronavirus going on, and you could go out a lot of times, and especially in the case of men to women, this goes for everybody, you guys, partner to partner, women to men, okay? When you get to start dating somebody, all right, a lot of times, in the case of women to men, a lot of men will try to pressure you to meet them right away, okay? Especially the ones that generally are just looking at you as a physical object, okay? And they're not really interested in you for long term. So those are the ones that want to meet you right away. So in a way, this is good, because if they're not able to get on the phone with you and talk to you on a regular basis during this, then they're really not concerned in getting to know you or care, all right? So that's a huge red flag, all right? So I hope that helps you. If it did, please hit the subscribe button and share my podcast. And remember, be safe, okay? Have a great night, you guys.